What's up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? I would like to welcome you back to another episode of Real Talk with Zuby. I'm just going to do a real quick check here to make sure that the live stream is coming through okay. It's a nice sunny day today. All right, dope. So everything is good with that. Sweet. So what I'm going to do is it's time for number 2 of the Patreon Q&As. It's going to be a quick one this time. Haven't got a whole ton of questions from Patreon subscribers this time, but I'm going to get through to each and every one of them and going to try to give some decent answers on these. So if you want to submit questions to future Q&As, then you can go and subscribe to my Patreon. That's patreon.com/Zuby Music. Link will be in the description. So that's the best way to support my music, my podcasts, and also my videos. I'm going to be getting back to making more YouTube videos shortly. Just trying to sort out a whole bunch of stuff, work out the kind of general direction I want to be going in and everything like that. But more is to come. Okay, so without much further ado, let's get to the Patreon questions. So the first question comes in from Michael Ian Bailey. And thank you, Michael, for being a Patreon subscriber. I appreciate it. His question is, what were some of your memories from your time in Dhahran? So that's the place nearby where I grew up in Saudi Arabia. So when I lived there, I actually lived for a while in a place called Abcake, and then I moved to a place called Udaliya. But the best known city in that general area is a place called Dhahran. So I lived in Saudi Arabia for 19 years. What are my best memories? I've got so much, man. I mean, it's really where I grew up. Had so many good times with my friends, memories from school, memories from when I was in boarding school and university, and I was still going back there to see my parents, see my family, see my friends, everything like that. So it's hard to pick out certain memories. It's hard to pick out certain memories. I mean, I remember when I was a returning student. So this is when I was a teenager. And I guess we can talk about this now because it's all good. It was not like anything too crazy anyway. But I know we used to go out at night, like at midnight, and we'd go to the local swimming pool, and we'd climb on top of the roof, chuck our clothes down into the pool, and then we'd like jump off the roof into the pool and hang out there in the pool and in the jacuzzi and stuff. And it was good vibes. I remember one time one of my friends was too scared to make the jump, so he'd already thrown his clothes down, but then he was just up on the roof like in his boxers. I'm not going to name him because he probably doesn't want. He's probably forgotten about this, so he doesn't need any reminders. But he probably won't see this video anyway. But yeah, that was funny. So he was just stuck up there like in his boxer shorts, on top of a roof. I'm trying to remember how he. I think. Oh gosh, did he jump eventually? No, I don't think he jumped eventually. I think one of us, we could have been really mean and just left him up there. But I think one of us was kind enough to gather his clothing and come back around and bring it to him as he came down the other side that we got onto the roof from. So that's like one random memory. But had a lot of good times there, man. Had a lot of good times. Growing up in Saudi Arabia was really cool. People always think like it was super crazy or something like that, but nah, where I grew up was really nice, really peaceful, tons of great people, and yeah, overall a really wonderful experience. In terms of my most recent memories of Dhahran specifically, I actually went back there. So at the very early stage of my music career, I actually went back there to perform a couple of times. So I performed at the Dhahran school. I also performed at the Dhahran Hills School. So those were both local high schools. I did a couple performances in those areas, and yeah, that was really dope. Those, in fact, one of the gigs. If you go on my YouTube channel and you type in Zuby Live in Dhahran or Zuby Live in Saudi Arabia, something like that, I'm pretty sure you will actually see that video. So yeah, you can go check that out. And yeah, those were some of my most recent memories of Saudi Arabia and Dhahran specifically. But yeah, lots of wonderful people, great weather, good times. Would be happy to go visit again, although I doubt I know anybody who is still there. Next question. This comes from Craig McKenzie. Big up, Craig. Thank you for being a loyal Patreon subscriber. Much appreciated. If you're tuned in live to the live stream and you want to support me on Patreon, then just go to patreon.com/Zuby Music. I haven't promoted it too hard just yet, but I'm going to be giving that a big push this year. See if we can get several hundred people on board. Would love to get to 1,000 plus eventually, and then we can really, really, really take stuff to a whole another level. Upgrade absolutely everything. So the question from Craig is, good morning, sir. Curious what your thoughts are about Antifa. Okay, Antifa. I have never really publicly talked about Antifa. I'm no fan of Antifa. I'm no fan of any extremists, ideologues, anybody who condones political violence, anyone who condones violence, period, against innocent people just because they agree with them, just because they disagree with them. I am no fan of. I'm not sure if this question was sent before or after the whole Andy No incident in Portland where they beat him up and, actually injured him, gave him the brain injury. But I've seen these people, doing stuff online for the past couple of years, and I don't like it. I don't like it. It needs to be denounced. Whether the thing I don't know if I dislike the fact that people like this exist and do these things and have this ideology. Firstly, I just completely disagree with the ideology and think it's wrong on most counts. And then anyone who's okay with political violence, I am not going to support. In fact, I will condemn outright. So I do not like Antifa. They are a domestic terrorist organization, to put it simply. Certainly the violent aspects of them. I'm aware that the movement goes far beyond, I don't know if everybody knows this, but the movement goes far beyond just the kind of thugs you see in the street who are blacked out and beating people with bike locks and fists and macing people, hitting people with crowbars, all this kind of crazy stuff, blocking streets, directing traffic. This is not something you should be seeing in any kind of civilized Western society. These people they can masquerade as good people. They can try to call themselves anti-fascists. But if you are advocating for political violence, then you are not on the right side of the equation. You are the one who is acting like a fascist. If you think it's okay to use violence to get your way and to shut down people you don't like, then, you might be the fascist. You might be the Nazi. You're probably not, as I tweeted a while ago, good people don't go out in the streets with masks on and with weapons, like, generally speaking. There aren't too many good guys who do that kind of stuff. So I condemn Antifa totally. Not a fan. Never have been. Never will be. Don't like the movement. Don't like the ideas. Don't like the violence. I don't support political violence, period. Nobody should be attacked just because you disagree with them, no matter how much you disagree with them. Trust me, there are tons of people in the world out there who I massively disagree with. You could have somebody who flipping supports Antifa. But if they're not being violent and they're not attacking me, then I have no right and no desire to attack that person. If they're willing to talk, we can sit down, see where we agree, see where we disagree, try to understand each other's motives, have a little bit of empathy. But yeah, no political violence, man. I don't support it. I don't care if it comes from the left or the right, or wherever. It's not good. It's not good. Stop it. Stop beating people up. Stop hitting people with crowbars. It's not a good look. Okay, next question is coming from Colson Young. He's got two here. So these are the last couple of questions here. Like I told you guys, this one's just going to be brief. So his first question is, are you more likely to be emotive or stoic in the face of tragedy and trauma? Do you think one is healthier than the other? Me personally, I'm a very stoic individual. That's just my temperament. That's my natural personality type. I'm not a hyper emotive person. Never have been. Do I think that one is healthier than the other? That's a tricky question, man. People cope with things in different ways. Some people crying and getting all emotional and talking to people about their feelings and getting it all out there helps them, they find it cathartic. I'm not someone who not generally ever really feels much of an urge to do that. It doesn't mean I don't have emotions. I'm not a robot. I'm not superhuman, but I am very stoic. I'm very, very, very low in neuroticism in terms of my personality type. I'm just a very calm individual. I don't get hyper excited easily. I don't get super happy. I don't get super sad. I'm pretty much immune to depression and stuff like that. So yeah, that's my personal philosophy. It's always worked for me. If I do need to talk to someone about something, then I've gotten a lot better over the past decade or so of opening up and talking to my family, talking to my friends, talking to my loved ones, talking to other people about what I'm feeling, bouncing ideas off of people, trying to understand solutions, trying to get to the bottom of things. But really, I think whatever helps people cope, as long as it's healthy and it's not putting much of a crazy burden on themselves or other people, then, do what works for you. Do what you think is healthy for you. And his next question is, I don't know if you're willing to answer, but what's the most tragic thing you've ever experienced or witnessed? What's the most tragic thing I've ever experienced or witnessed? Man, um, I feel so blessed that it's a difficult question to answer. I mean, there's things that I've not witnessed firsthand, but things I've seen, seen videos of online, which are absolutely horrific. Just really, really horrible stuff. Terrorist type stuff, police shootings, just horrible accidents, bad things that have happened to other people. Even a lot of historical stuff. But, I haven't witnessed that. That's just stuff I've seen, stuff I'm aware of, stuff I've watched, stuff I've read about, just to understand the human condition and all the possibilities, understand what can happen when things go out of control, and just to understand the dangers of the world. I think that's pretty important for perspective. It even makes you a person who's full of more gratitude, a much more gracious person. But the most tragic thing I myself have ever witnessed, I would need more time to think about that, to be honest with you. There's nothing in my brain that immediately jumps out at me as something that was totally, totally tragic. I mean, I've had people I know die unexpectedly. That's always going to be a tragic thing. It's going to be something sad. Fortunately, it's not something I've ever sort of witnessed on the spot with my own two eyes, and I really don't want to. Um, but yeah, I would say that anybody close to me, whether that's a friend, a family member, anyone like that, passing away, especially unexpectedly, that's always very, very sad. That's one of the tragedies of life. We are all. One thing I don't talk about, though, I'm going to go off on a little bit of a tangent. I'll talk a little bit more here. I mean, I think one thing people don't necessarily know about me is that I'm very aware of my own and everybody else's mortality. And that might sound dark. It may sound negative, but to me, that's a very positive and optimistic thing. One of the reasons why I'm such a driven individual, one of the reasons I try to be a positive light, I try not to hold grudges. I try to forgive people quickly. I try to be kind to everybody I encounter. One of the reasons for that is because I'm very aware of the fact that I could die tomorrow. Somebody else could die tomorrow. A lot of people are going to die today. A lot of people are going to die tomorrow. Like, we don't know when our time is coming. Everybody's time is coming at some point. So why not be the best person you can be? Why not be gracious? Why not be thankful for every moment that you have where you are happy? Well, even if you're not happy, where you are healthy, you are alive. You've got people who love you. You've got friends. You've got family. You can enjoy the air. You can breathe in. You can walk with your feet. You can hear with your ears. You can see with your eyes. A lot of people, millions of people around the world do not have all of those things. Some people are missing multiple of those things. So I think it's very important to just be aware of that. Just be aware that life does not go on forever. If you've ever experienced any kind of death in your family or anybody you know or friend, I mean, once you're past a certain age, that's going to happen. And it's going to happen more and more as you get older. And there's two ways you can look at that. You can look at it, you can dwell on it, you can be very, very sad, or you can see the silver lining and you can understand that it's important to be the best person that you can be, to treat other people decently, to be kind, and really just to be grateful for what you have. Go after your dreams. Don't mill around in life doing crap that you don't want to do or living a life that you hate, because it's too short for that, man. It's way, way, way too short for that. So that's my little motivational speech right there. Hope you guys appreciate that. Okay, I'm not going to blabber on for the sake of blabbering on. That's all the questions that have come in from my Patreon subscribers. As I said, guys, if you would like to support my work on a monthly basis, please go to patreon.com/Zuby Music and consider subscribing. You can subscribe from anywhere from $2 up from $2 upwards per month. Whatever you are able to afford, it's much appreciated. It will go to help me making more podcasts, making more music, doing more cool stuff, being more creative, spending more time creating, less time editing and doing admin and business, all that kind of stuff. I eventually like to get to a stage where I spend very little time doing that. But for that to happen, I need the support of my wonderful supporters. So I hope you have enjoyed the live stream. I'm going to be closing this out in just a moment. So thank you very much for tuning in. Anybody live tuning in, anybody who is listening back, then I appreciate you listening back. Be good. I wish you an awesome week and take care. God bless you all. Peace.